Have you heard people throwing around the term GEO and you have no idea what it actually means? By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what GEO is, why it's not just some completely brand new discipline you have to learn from scratch, and also how it connects directly to the local SEO you might already be doing, or at least you should be doing it. This is the first episode in a whole series on getting your business found in both search and in AI. Let's start with the term that many people are confused by. GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization. That can be a mouthful, so let's translate it into actual human speak. Here's the simplest way to think about the difference between GEO and the SEO that you've probably heard of for years. SEO meant that you were the top link, the first thing in the results. When somebody typed it in, there you were, number one, your link to your website. Now you're showing up in that list of results, somebody clicks, they land on your site. GEO, on the other hand, is about being the business that the AI is naming. There's not necessarily a list of 10 options. There's not necessarily a click that they're moving to your website. The assistant might just say your business name out loud, or it could be listing a competitor's. Picture someone in your town grabbing their phone and saying, "Who's a good electrician near me?" They might say it into ChatGPT, Google's AI overview, Claude, doesn't matter. All of these assistants are going to do something similar, but they're going to pick up that phone and ask. The AI, it doesn't hand them back the traditional list of 10 options where you can click each one of the blue links and sort through it. It's going to give you a short, concise, confident answer with just a few names that it recommends based on who you as the searcher are and the business and how they connect. Your business was either in that answer or it's not. That's the entire reason GEO exists as its own term. A growing number of people are asking a question and taking the answer instead of scrolling a page of search results and visiting each one of the websites. If you're only optimizing to be a link on a page, you could be invisible to every one of those people that are asking the AI assistant. Now, here's the part that actually matters, and it's the reason this whole series exists. GEO is not a completely separate system from getting found on Google. It uses many of the same fundamentals, but we're applying them into a new medium. I want to be direct about this because a lot of what you'll find online treats GEO like it's some mysterious new discipline, and you have to learn this from scratch, and only rocket scientists and this one guy could possibly do it, and that's simply not true. AI assistants are not inventing businesses out of the air. When you go ask an AI and it recommends a local plumber or a bakery, it's pulling in the exact same web content the rest of us live on. It's going to pull from your website. It could potentially pull from your Google business profile, can pull from reviews, directories, the general pattern of what the internet knows about you. And that is really good news because it means the work's not mysterious and you're not starting over from scratch. If your business is clearly described, consistently listed, well reviewed, and demonstrably good at what it does, the AI has plenty to draw on when someone asks about you. If your online presence kind of thin, maybe a little inconsistent depending on where people look, or even vague, that AI is not going to have the same solid foundation of understanding about your business, so the probability you get skipped over is going to go way up. Now, what does the actual work look like? I've organized it into 5 factors, and this series is going to walk through each one in detail over the coming weeks. It's actually the same framework I've built into a piece of software called GeniePress. So if you ever want to see the 5 factors in a working system instead of just a list, that exists too. Go to geniepress.app. But for now, let's just walk through what they are. Here they are at a glance in the order that actually matters. Number 1, brand clarity. Being clear about who you are, what you do, and who you help. This is the foundation everything else is going to sit on, and it's one that many businesses either get wrong or completely ignore. Number 2 is presence. Showing up consistently everywhere people and machines look for you is critical. You have to make sure your Google business profile, your directory listings, your basic business information is matching everywhere that it shows up. Number 3 is popularity and reputation. getting people to talk about you, having customers leave reviews, and getting linked by real people, real websites, real organizations. That all matters here. And so does one hard line that I'm not going to move on. And it is, don't ever, ever get fake reviews, no spam links, just avoid that whole industry. We'll go into why that's not just an ethics thing, but it's actually a practical one that'll serve your business well. Number 4 is expertise and depth, proving that you actually know your stuff in enough detail to make it matter. This one has gotten more important in the AI era, not less, because an AI assistant needs a good source of data that thoroughly answers a question before it's going to cite or trust the source. And then number 5 is all the technical stuff, making sure search engines and AI systems can actually read your site without tripping all over it. This one is real, but it's also deliberately last on my list. And later in this series, I'm going to explain exactly why. Did you notice anything about the order that those are in? It's not random, and it's not how most of the industry sells this work. A ton of providers will start with all the technical stuff because it's concrete, it's easy to run through their checklist, be like, oh yeah, done, 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 done. And worst of all, it's easy for them to charge you a fortune for it. But a technically flawless website that's still vague about what it does, invisible on maps, and thin on real content still probably is not going to get found or recommended. The technical layer is important, but it's not the most important. Now, these 5 factors, whether we're talking about classic organic search results or getting named by an AI assistant, will help you in both cases. That's the unifying idea behind this whole series. And it's worth repeating because so much of the noise out there treats GEO like a totally separate skill and some other thing that you have to bolt onto your business. It's not. Doing the fundamental work well will help you show up in both places. Skip it, and you're probably going to be invisible both places. There's one more thing we have to cover before we move on, because I want you to truly understand this is the very cutting edge of GEO, and so much so that there's not even complete consensus on the term yet. You may hear other people saying things like AIO, AEO, which is answer engine optimization. Different people are going to use these terms slightly differently because the dust hasn't settled and because this is such a new thing that's developing for us every single day. Another point we need to cover is nobody truly understands every variable, every factor, everything that goes into which organizations get picked, which ones rank in which order. It's just far too complex. I don't even think that the AI companies themselves are fully aware of how their systems decide who they're going to pick. They know at a high level, but they don't know every detail. As such, I'm not going to pretend like I know every single answer or that I'm somehow magically all-knowing in this industry. Nobody is. But what I can tell you is that what actually seems to move the needle, based on what's tested and what's repeatable, that's what this whole series is built on. Now, are you wondering, where do I begin with all this? It's the first factor on that list, your brand clarity. And it's also the cheapest for you to fix and one of the most powerful. And the final piece is that's where most small business websites quietly fall apart. That's what we're going to cover next. If you want to go deeper to understand some of the fundamentals and also the steps you can be taking every single day, check out my book, Small Business Big Visibility, Local SEO Made Easy, or go to geniepress.app to understand what's happening today. I'll leave the links below. And if you want the rest of the series, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.